I was watching the Bucs tape this morning, and I was going to myself, Baker's not really playing very well. And then I looked at PFF, and he had one of the lowest grades of the week. He had the 4th lowest passing grade of the week, Baker Mayfield. He's on Heath's sell high list, probably for different reasons, along with Kamara, Pittman, and Marvin Harrison. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'll get to those guys in just a second. I just wanted to put you at ease a little bit. Terry McLaurin had 8 games last year with an average route depth deeper than 10 yards.
Oh, okay.
So it did bounce around a little bit. It's going to be okay. I probably may just sound insane all season long because I said in the preseason, there's no way Baker Mayfield can keep up that ridiculous touchdown rate. And then in week 1, it was an even higher touchdown rate. Yeah. But I think you're right. Other than the fact that he threw 3 touchdown passes, which is kind of like, how was the play? It was not quite as good a performance from Baker Mayfield as I would like to see. I don't like him very much this week. I still don't think he's going to be a top 6 quarterback. He was top 4 last year. There's probably a lot of people who do, though, because he did it last year. He did it again in week 1. So if you could sell him, I would. Alvin Kamara, as we talked about on Sunday night, I'm very concerned about his target share in the Kellen Moore offense. He may not have as big a split between his half PPR and full PPR value as I thought he was going to. And other than the touchdown, not a very encouraging game for him, considering how the touches were split up. Michael Pittman's going to face the Broncos this week, and then who knows what the Colts pass offense is actually like. So if I could get something for him that I wanted to start, I would love that. And I still just kind of think the Marvin Harrison Jr. is Marvin Harrison Jr. And he got 6 targets. He caught 5 of them and a touchdown. So he had a great day. There's going to be a lot of weeks where he gets 6 targets and catches 3 of them.
So he was open a lot. I showed on Beyond the Box Score, Marvin Harrison Jr., 4 plays where he was wide open, got only targeted on 1 of them. But actually, just more on the route depth, his average route depth was much lower than it was last year. And I do think that's encouraging. The target share, target per route run rate, not encouraging for Harrison. But they gave him a wide receiver screen, right? They would pretty much never did that last year. Hit him in the end. He got the end zone targets last year. He got one this year. I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued enough to see where it goes.
Same. But I still think the problem is Kyler, because Kyler missed him on a deep target.
At the very end,
it's still going to be a little concerning. So if you want to go and if you're going to sell high on Marvin Harrison, make sure you sell high enough. And if you buy low on, you're not really buying low on Marvin Harrison. I think if you have Marvin Harrison, you shouldn't get rid of him unless somebody's just crazy enough to get him.
Maybe you could get AJ Brown for him.
Yeah, I would do that.
Okay, how about Tyreek Hill versus Marvin Harrison?
I'm not trading for Tyreek Hill right now.
I'd rather have Marvin,
They have the same value on the trade chart right now.
How about Travion Henderson or Marvin Harrison?
Henderson for me.
I think that's what you need.
Okay. How about Omarion Hampton or Marvin Harrison?
Same.
I have Hampton ahead. I have Hampton ahead and Henderson at the same value in PPR.
Heath, we lost Kittle. We were offered Kamara and Hawkinson for Omarion Hampton in a half PPR league. And then we ended up picking up Fannin.
So we don't need Hawkinson anymore because we have somebody better.
I just couldn't believe that you were even considering that.
Well, I wonder what the trade chart says.
Trade chart is way in favor of Kamara and Hawkinson.
That's what I expected.
Here's the thing. Okay, and just not to criticize the trade chart, but when you get 2 values over 1, a lot of times it's going to weigh, it's going to favor the 2 for one side, but you still might be giving up the best player in the deal. And then you have to say, well, who am I replacing that second player with? So for us, it's Hawkinson, it's a 10-team league. We'll be able to stream tight ends. So I just didn't, and Kittle will be back in 4 weeks, hopefully. So just consider that with the trade chart. You can lose on the trade chart if you're giving up 2 to get 1.
What I suggest is for a 2-for-1, you need to win the trade by more than 10%. And this is with the dynasty trade chart. So Dave may have a different formula. And a 3-for-1, you need to win it by at least 20%.
It's 10% for a 3-for-1, and it's even up in a 2-for-1. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of the trade chart.
What a great team name from Thomas Schaefer. If you had Fannin and Kamara, Harold and Kamara. That's very good. Jamie, your sell highs: Breece Hall, Javonte Williams, Emeka Ibuka, and Keon Coleman.
Actually made a trade offer for Dave in our podcast league. Breece Hall for Jackson Smith and Najigba. His running backs are terrible. We have a surplus of running backs. I looked at his trade chart. JSN is valued less than Breece Hall.
Mm-hmm.
So see if Dave's going to follow.
I will huddle with my co-manager and get back to you.
Don't do it, Dave.
Why?
I'm surprised that Breece Hall's got a higher value than JSN. I mean, what an encouraging week for JSN.
Oh, yes, no question. I thought you were going to say what an encouraging week for Breece Hall.
Right. I wouldn't give up JSN for Breece Hall, but okay, it's obviously close.
Yeah. And before the bad Breece Hall news, they were being drafted in pretty much the same spot. They were both around 3 picks.
Right. Not by us, but in the ADP. You're correct.
Well, they were in my rankings.
Oh, okay. That's true.
All right. So Jamie, talk about this Breece Hall selling high.
Listen, he was awesome. But this may be the best value you can get for him at this point, just based on what I think could still be a little bit of problem, slight problem, but it's the trap back situation of, is he going to catch enough passes? He only had 2. And is he going to get the goal line work? Because he lost the rushing touchdown. Now, he did have some goal line opportunities, or, inside the 5 opportunities. But if he does not run as well as he did, are we looking at a little bit of a down performance for him? So just maximizing value. I think, look, it was obviously amazing to see the way that he performed and his usage, but just worried that he's not going to get enough receptions or touchdowns. It could be slight issue moving forward. For Javonte, it's clear, just try and sell high on a player like this anytime you can. Ibuka, again, similar situation to Breece Hall. Is this the best game that he's going to have all season? Godwin's coming back eventually. Mike Evans will be better. As Heath said, we could get the Baker Mayfield regression. So there's a lot of things working, not necessarily against Ibuka. He was fantastic coming off the strong preseason performance, but that was also against Atlanta. And then Keon Coleman, I'm curious what's going to happen this week, based on how the Jets will play him, and may have been his best game. So a very encouraging performance in week 1, but can you again maximize value for players that were drafted a little bit later?
And it's funny because, look, we liked Ibuka and we liked Coleman, and then they go out and they rewarded us with big week 1s, and now we're telling you to trade them. But you really need to get something very good for them. And Coleman had 7 catches, 95 yards, and a touchdown in the 4th quarter in a game where Josh Allen threw 46 passes, and he averaged 30 pass attempts per game last year. And yeah, obviously their schedule is so freaking easy going forward that they're not. I don't project that they're going to have to throw that much. That's not their identity, the Bills. So I get it. I think with Ibuka though, like, just hear me out on this, right? Comes out, first game of the year, catches 2 touchdowns, first game of his career. Chris Godwin is coming back from a gruesome injury and then a second unplanned surgery after that. I don't know what my expectations could be for him. Evans is 32, although he was also shadowed mostly by AJ Terrell.
Drew a lot of double teams as well, including on both of the touchdowns to Ibuka.
Why am I giving up on Emeka Ibuka? I mean, what? Not giving up. That's the wrong word.
No. It's not giving up. Somebody posted in the chat, Ibuka for T. Higgins. Like, you make that trade in a heartbeat if somebody offers that to you. So I got offered a terrible trade in one of the leftover leagues of Xavier Worthy and Cam Scatterbo for Ibuka. Like, never would I.
Okay, would you trade Ibuka for Omarion Hampton?
Again, I think that comes down to what you need.
No.
So would I trade Ibuka to get Hampton, or would I trade Hampton to get Ibuka?
No, would you trade Ibuka to get Hampton?
Yes.
Heath,
Yeah.
no?
I don't think so.
Really? Is that because you're so high in Ibuka or kind of low on Hampton?
I think I'm maybe a little bit of both.
Okay.
I certainly wouldn't trade Ibuka to get Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I could see it. You're just totally out on Tyreek Hill.
I'm
By the way, like, doesn't this present a good, like, a buy low on Jalen Waddle, or no?
Yes, I think he was almost my buy low list, and I'm not. Like I said, I'm probably, if I have Tyreek Hill, I'm starting him this week, and I'm just praying.
Yeah,
because it's like the Patriots just gave up 364 yards to Geno Smith.
Yeah,
their pass defense might be awful.
Well, Christian Gonzalez didn't play, and he's expected to return this week, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Maybe that'll fix everything, but
he's going to shadow Tyreek Hill. I'm pretty sure he did last year. We'll have to go back and watch that tape. All right. Sorry, we have to Dave's buy lows, sell highs. Dave's sell highs. Zay Flowers, 9 targets on 19 pass attempts. Travis Etienne, J.K. Dobbins, Deebo Samuel. Oh, I hope we're aiming very high with these guys, Dave.
Well, that's the point. You're not going to give them away for nothing. But we've seen enough of Zay Flowers to know that he does have games like this, and then he comes right back the next week and has 4 catches for 40 yards and no touchdowns. You could definitely try and shoot high for all these guys. That's the point of selling high. It's not give away, it's sell high. And so I think Zay Flowers is one of those players where you shouldn't expect this on a week-to-week basis, and I think we know that by now. Etienne is a sell very high. We know what his track record is. I think he only has the one great year for fantasy managers, and otherwise he takes on injuries and there's other things that slow him down. Why would this year be any different? We're all very excited about what Bashal Tutin could eventually be. He's still in Jacksonville. So I wonder how long Travis Etienne will be a must-start type of fantasy running back. J.K. Dobbins, it's just the inverse of R.J. Harvey and why we like him. And then Deebo Samuel, the inverse of Terry McLaurin. He had a great game in week 1. And I really like how they game planned for him, or how they schemed him up in the offense, is what I really should have said. I don't know if Deebo's going to be able to keep this up for very long, and we know about his injury history as well. He's the one that I would sell for like the least amount in return, which is easy to say because he's the one that we drafted last.
You like Dobbins better than him?
Dobbins better than
Deebo?
No, Deebo's worth more on the trade chart. I would just try and get out from Dobbins before he has an RJ Harvey problem.
Okay. I'm sorry, because you said Deebo's the one you'd sell for the least. So that made me think.
No, obviously, I should have said that about Dobbins first.
Okay.
Obviously, you're going to get a lot less for Dobbins than you will for Deebo.
I got a little pushback on Zay Flowers. And just because if we go another week where the tight ends just are not the focal point of the pass offense, and Zay Flowers hasn't quite had games like that. It was a career high in receiving yards and his second highest target share in a game ever. And it wasn't because they were chasing the score. Even though they lost, they were up 2 scores for most of that game. He was just awesome. And he's a year 3 wide receiver who was a first-round pick.
Ibuka or Flowers?
Ibuka.
Flowers.
I'll take Ibuka.
All right. So recapping it, buy lows, got some rookie running backs on there. Henderson and Harvey were mentioned. A.J. Brown, Jamison Williams, Calvin Ridley, Travis Hunter, DK Metcalf, Matthew Golden. A lot of rookies. We're still bullish on the rookies. Dak Prescott, Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift, Terry McLaurin. Sell highs, Baker Mayfield. Obviously, this is not everybody agreed on everything. Baker Mayfield, Kamara, Pittman, Marvin Harrison Jr., that one we had a little disagreement on. Breece Hall, we were the lowest in the world collectively on Breece Hall. His ADP didn't fall as much as it did for us, as the rankings did for Dave, Jamie, and Heath, and where we were all drafting him. So if you can buy into what we're saying, that the trap back issues here, I think you could. This is the guy you could get a king's ransom for, because a lot of people were still really, really bought into Breece Hall. Maybe everyone's right and we were wrong, but people were really bought into Breece Hall. Javonte Williams, Emeka Ibuka, Keon Coleman, Zay Flowers, Travis Etienne, J.K. Dobbins, Deebo Samuel. And maybe a rule of thumb is to try to, just to throw this out there, because I don't want to, say, just sell high on these guys, then you're giving away for nothing. Try to get 2 rounds better than what you drafted them for. We start with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Unless you drafted Alvin Kamara in round 3, that's probably not going to work.
Nico Collins for him. I think I mentioned all the shadowing that I noticed. Sauce Gardner on Metcalf, Patrick Surtain on Ridley, AJ Terrell, not exactly shadowing Evans, but a lot of it. And then the one that surprised me was Stingley, because I feel like he wasn't much of a shadower last year, and he shadowed Devontae Adams, and I think that's really important to note.